Hello. I am not quite ready. Just a second. I just need to turn off the autofocus. Brighten this up. Hello, hello. How's it going, everyone? How's this look? Do you think we could go brighter? Maybe more zoomed in. Hello. Okay, I was just working on my tension and I lost track of time. So let me just check to see if we're there. Because anytime I use this thread, upper and lower, it's a little dicey. So, welcome Sylvia. Hi Margaret. Hi Dawn. Hi Julie. Hey Larry. Hello Ellie. Hey Jenna. How are you guys? I was about to use this as my scrap. I need a little bigger piece. So we're just gonna cut this right here. I was kind of hoping I would have a bobbin that was the same color, or like a lighter weight spool. That's the key. If you're gonna use these like heavier weights, I suggest getting the lighter weight as well for the bobbin. Okay, I will accept this if I have to. Because I really can't dial this up too much more. I've loosened my bobbin. Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, okay, cool. I like that. How's it going? All right, I'm gonna cut out my sleeve lining too. I decided to just use like a regular old lining fabric, a Bemberg rayon that I have. Yeah, I know it needs ironing. It was in my lining drawer. It is a really funky scrap, but you never know what you'll need. And all I need is sleeves for this, so this is perfect, right? You save everything, and then it justifies all the hoarding. Hey Terry, hi Elizabeth. You should be sewing when you're watching. Same now. How's it going? These are our yokes that we need to pleat, but I need to iron first. I was just like worried I didn't have a hair marker here, and then I realized I have like 20 of them in the next room because I had that class and I didn't use them all. So this is too bright. We could zoom in a little too, but I'm gonna iron first, and the iron table is a little higher, so the camera's gonna be closer. So we'll do that, and then when we come back over here, we'll zoom in a little bit, all right? So let's see here. We're gonna cut our sleeve lining first. And I was starting to get all this stuff set up here, so let's do that a little bit too. I like to, even if I'm not sewing with you, I usually set up all my pieces in order of how I'm gonna sew them. It just is really helpful, right? And we know this one's gonna be particular. Right now I'm just putting these in order. There's a number on each one, so I'm just going in order. And then when I'm ready to sew them, I will lay them out. There will be fewer pieces to keep track of by then. Okay, so we have the sleeves, which we'll put here. Here's my sleeve lining. And I think I'm gonna put this in the folder. And everything else over here is spare fabric. I'm gonna have my yoke as well. And we need the template to cut the pleated yoke. All right, we're ready. I'm putting order sign too. Yeah, it's so great, especially if you've read the instructions a few times or you know how to sew it together. Just putting it in order, it just helps the flow. Like, I want to watch the movie, not the instruction sheet. All right, let me let's turn this around. Is that upside down? I can't remember. Wait, how did I just fiddled with this earlier just to make sure. It is upside down, isn't it? Yeah. That'll be okay though, right? I'm going to turn the thing so I can see chat a little bit. So first I'm just going to iron these sleeves, but let's give it a quick press. I love being reunited with my sewing machine and my iron here. Tell you what. I can't wait to sew this on my sewing machine. I like my home machine, don't get me wrong. Oh, I hope this, what if this isn't big enough? Oh, this might not be big enough. Dang. Wait, that's not the piece. Could I do it sideways, maybe? Oh, we're gonna have to do this off grain. That's fine though, honestly. That's fine. That'll be fine. We're gonna get rid of this. Put this under the table. So how are you all? We'll get right into the sewing today since I chatted your ear off yesterday. Shim gave me a tip about my thread spool issue. And I also asked my office mate today, and he's pretty excited about printing the disc. I wonder if Gutermann even makes that disc, and I just could maybe order it. I don't know. Oh, and his tip was just to remove that sponge, the foam, on the underneath. Which is weird because I feel like that is there to help the vibration. His idea was that he removed that and it helped. And he hasn't had an issue. And he uses the same exact thread. I think even the same exact weight because I'm using the 70. This is pre-washed, so I'm not too worried about the grain line. And it's lining. Not my mat looking warped a little bit, or is it the thing? I'd be kind of bummed if it was warped, to be honest. We'll use some scissors for weights. Why am I off over here? That's annoying. Okay, we all hate it when we're cutting these really slippery fabrics, don't we? And I didn't quite make it over here, so this is my tactic. I'm gonna hold this down and then roll this up like this. Pull it over and unroll it. And then that way I'm pretty close to where I was. And I just need the underarm seam. Okay, come on, man. Sweet. Let me put this out of the way here. We will need it for our yoke cutting. See, I know this is going to get ironed a lot. But, you know, I don't pre-iron a lot of my fabric if it's only slightly wrinkled, and that's because I want to prevent any ironing when the garment's made. A lot of calcium deposits coming off. All right, let me get my hair marker. I kind of want my ruler for this. I'm only going to do the first one Oh. Nope. Here a marker. All right, so we could use a couple pins to hold this on here. I was just thinking I could use my soapstone pencil, but the thing is, I want to mark this on the back. And I think marking it on the back is going to be easier. I'm going to skip this one here. So I pre-marked my pleats a little bit on this paper. Hopefully you can see it. So my struggle yesterday was, so this pleated yoke, just in case you didn't see yesterday, this pleated yoke is not the finished size. Once we pleat it up, we have a little template to lay on top and cut it out. And the instructions say that you draw your first pleat line 1.6 inches from center front, but they didn't say specifically, is it the center front or the cut line? So I chose from the cut line. I know they said center front, but they didn't sound like they were talking about true center front. You know what I mean, jelly beans? So, actually we're going to start from the center here, from the front. No, you know what? We need a hard surface here. Actually, we're not going to use this. We're going to use a ruler. But I am right-handed. Hey Tiffany, how's it going? All right, so we're going to do this line here. We're just going to do one layer too. I'm being very mindful here. We're going to do one layer, we're going to iron it, and then we're going to do the other one. I can see how off my lines are from yesterday a little bit. And for 1.6 inches, I'm putting it between 1.5 and 1.65. So 1.5 and 1 5/8. And I'm sorry you probably can't see my little dent line that this makes. It's there, I promise. Can you see these lines here? Maybe. The reason I decided to do it from the back was because this places a dent. So pretend like this is the wrong side of my fabric. This is going to place a dent. Why do these look off grain though? You know what I mean? Like that's parallel there, but the grain isn't. And it'll be really hard to do if I don't do it parallel. So thankfully we have this yoke template. So I'm gonna go to the grain. Oof. And I'm gonna put a pin in my real ones. But I can't do that until after I trace the next one. We're learning all kinds of things here. There's a glare on my ruler. We're gonna do this. Tedious. Watching the replay, you can skip ahead. I'm going to get my other pins. Oh, you can see those? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can kind of see them on the screen there. That's good. Okay. You could snip the fabric too if you wanted. Or you could do this however you want. I'm obviously probably making this look a little more complicated than it needs to be, but I know that when you're folding these things and sewing them, that if the fabric is off grain a little bit, it's going to be nothing but grief. So I'm just, you know what? Like, we're here. We don't do this because we're getting paid well. You know, like, we're all doing this because we like it. So might as well just do it right. And make it so that it's enjoyable. Especially, like, what if I don't end up liking the shirt and I want to give it away? I want it to look nice. Do you guys ever think about what your ideal job would be? I'm curious, what would your ideal job be? Like, we're talking pay doesn't matter. You will be taken care of. You have to work for a living, but you could do whatever you want. I don't care if it's ice cream taster. Wait, is that the one? I want to hear it. Is it sewing related? Taking care of cats on a cat island. Okay. Okay, you're bringing your A game, Sylvia, and I really, really appreciate this. You get brownie points today. Baker, okay. Cataloging librarian. Not one with a photocopier. Nope, you do not have to have a photo, or the photocopier is perfection. It's the most satisfying thing to use in the world. Well, there's nothing I would want to do for a job for years and years and years, but there's hundreds of different things I'd like to do for months at a time. Yeah. But Aisha, it could be your ideal job. Like, you can't yuck Terry's yum. Maybe Terry likes getting up early. Fabric or bookseller. Okay. I'm finding myself jealous of the coworker who retired to be a full-time artist, although I demand to textile artist since painting is not for me. Lots of books, not many people. Okay. I like it. Yes, you can have another answer, Sylvia. You are the brownie student today. You like to simple IKEA furniture. Okay. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. You guys are very inspiring. I like it. That's awesome, Dawn. You are the goal here. You could open your shop whenever you wanted, and complainers get no baked goods again, ever. You hear that, Aisha? You better be careful. Bookkeeper, what I do for it. Sorry, I have to pull my iron closer. No soup for you. Ideal job with reality suspended. What's my answer? Gosh. You know, I think about it a lot, and I have all my life. I've been in some ways lucky to be able to do what I do. So without getting too deep in the weeds, I just kind of wish society was built upon the premise of only doing things we need to live. And you live in a community and you help out and you all do different things and you help each other when they need help. So yeah, a little bit of everything and then whatever I want. Because I've already seen to my needs and the people in my community's needs. So then I can go sew, or I was going to say paint, but I don't paint. Or bake, or build something, or play around. I don't know, I guess. I've been thinking about contentment for the last few years and what that means. Because like happiness isn't really my goal. Contentment is my goal. You know what I mean? Do we want a pleat way out here? We'll put this tuck here, and maybe we want it, but we don't know what we want. And so, you know, and I'm speaking from like, yeah, altered reality for sure, right? If I had to like choose my job based within my skill set, that'd be probably a different answer. Do you have an answer, Aisha, then? Or are you still trying to formulate it? Nancy, right? I think as being someone who has seen the rise of the coffee shop in our generation, because people don't understand that there was a life without internet and life without things like Starbucks. I have to find my other yoke and my ruler. They both fell on the ground. I think what's interesting is that, do you all remember when all of a sudden you could go somewhere and buy a coffee and we were all like, what the hell? Who would go and buy a coffee? I have to find my pattern piece. It's like way over here. Actually, we're not going to use that. We didn't need that. So we need this though. I would be your best customer too. Happiness is fleeting and we all need it, but it won't last. Yeah. Yeah, I think happiness is kind of overrated in some ways. I think feels good to feel different things. Wait, that's not on grain either. So, I don't know, I remember that whole coffee shop thing and I was like, you know, younger, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of like this. We're definitely going to get okay, yeah. And, but people were like, oh my gosh, what a waste of money. $3, or it was like $2 for a coffee, but we don't do our first ones. But then, you know, like I really liked a good coffee, like a good cappuccino. That would be ideal. But then, this is no shade either. This is actually, no, this is shade. There were a ton of people who were just like, we're going to retire and open a coffee shop. And they made the worst coffee ever. And this is the thing. People hate on places like Starbucks. But the thing is, they were making bad coffee. Like they didn't know how to make an espresso. They burnt the milk. They never cleaned the steaming wand. It was disgusting. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. I just wouldn't get coffee at those places. I'm not one of those people that goes to a coffee shop. I like to get an espresso and I pour hot water in it, and that's it. So I feel like there's a lot of people who kind of ruined the whole coffee shop thing, and that enabled Starbucks. So they were their own worst enemies. And we all know that Starbucks treats used to be better. Now they're kind of mid, you know? They're predictable and reliable, so we eat them. You know what you're gonna get, you know? But man, I felt like such a princess sometimes. We would be on a road trip, we'd walk in and be like, oh, look at that coffee shop, let's go check it out. We walk in, and if you could hear the hum of all the freezers or fridges in there, I'd be like, I'm already suspicious. And then if you saw the steaming one caked with milk, I'd be like, no, I'm just gonna get hot tea. Like, don't make me bougie and then give me junk to drink. You know? I go to Starbucks because it's our only thing up here. We have one other local coffee shop that I go to as well that I love. And they do different things. They like coffee from a different region than I like. So I just stick to chai. But I actually, because I want them to survive, I have a line item in my budget for them. I spend, I'm allowed to spend up to $25 a month, or wait, it's more than that. I think it's more than that. It might be $50 a month because I feel like it's $600 a year. Because they do dinners too. Just so you're clear, we're clear. They do a Friday night dinner, a special weekly Friday night dinner. That's really good. And it's not cheap. And I want them to survive because it's a really cool little place. And we really just, you know, everything's gone here. And Starbucks is the nicest customer service around. They're like the nicest people. We have a Taco Bell. We have a Starbucks. We have a diner that's actually, wait, I'm doing this the wrong way. I knew this looked different. No, I'm not. Wait. But I'm about to get the same thing. Okay, it's this one here. All right. I mean, there's been a couple of things to open here since the fire, like food-wise, but it's really not much. How come I did it this side, but I'm not getting the dent on this side? Oh well. I like that, Aisha. Your career goal has always been having no job. I love it. I love that you appreciate that, you know? I actually think about you sometimes, Aisha. I actually really look up to all the things you do in a day. You keep things moving. Your fellow employees were slobs. Oh no. We just had a new pizza chain open up here that I've never heard of before. I don't really like pizza, but you know what? I'll eat there. They have other things. There is 3 pizza places up here, and that's the tragedy, is that I'm not a big pizza person. We have a Subway too, and I keep forgetting about that, but I don't like Subway anymore either. It's too junky. You know how you save money if you eat out a lot? You just move somewhere where everything burned down. And you have no options. Sometimes we have dark humor here. You take the wins where you get them. The Starbucks survived here. And it's kind of a shame at the time because they probably did put the pinch on a local place. The local place burned down. But Starbucks had a new, larger parking lot. And everything that had a parking lot, not everything, sorry, I shouldn't say that. A lot of things that had good parking lots with lots of clearance and very low vegetation survived. Like all but one of the churches survived, and all the auto parts stores survived because they're made of cinder block. We have all the auto parts stores you could imagine. It's ridiculous. Okay. We ready to sew some tucks? Yeah, really. I think like you cook all this amazing food, you bake all your bread, you take care of your pets and your wife. You're a very supportive spouse. I never hear you complain about it. I want to be useful. That's my dream job. Being useful, appreciated, never ignored. I guess I would think about that. And then left alone. I really want to be around people, but I also need alone time to recharge, but I'm super social at the same time, so it's a really hard mix to balance sometimes. Oh yeah, Barnes & Noble, that's cool. Okay. These look pretty good, don't you think? They look pretty even. We have a left and a right. So these are sewn. Oh, we need the instructions. What size are these? I don't know. What size are these? I have too many computers right now. I have this pattern pulled up on, this is going to be my third computer it's pulled up on. Because I leave it up until I'm done. But it's at my house. Okay. Oof, let's see if we can read these things because it's mostly text. All right, we're gonna do our tucks first. I think that's the first thing, yep. And we stitch them at 3/8. Cool. Yeah, let the machine do one thing and do it well. I agree. Okay, we're gonna start at the center front here. 3/8. How does everything look? Do you guys want more zoom? I guess I'll start way up here. We'll back stitch when we, oh, I have my little back tacky thing. This one's not as wide, I can tell. I think the TL, the Juki TL, would really be improved if they put the back tacky thing right here. I doubt they'll ever do that. I can see a loop in my thread. Look. Can you see that? Probably not. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. What do you think of this green, Terry? I think I wasn't very into like army green. And then I made that, I just thought of something. Okay, if you don't like your bobbin thread, sew these the way I'm doing it. I just got lucky because when you press them this way, your top thread's gonna show. Just so you think about that. Yeah, right, I'm liking this color too. Yeah, I made that dress. I made a dress version of, I think it was Tunic #1 by Sonia Phillip, and I made it for Hearts Fabric. And I remember thinking it wasn't this dark. It was like a light version of this. And I remember thinking, oh, this color, I'm not sure about this. And then I tried it on. I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I had so many people comment about the color on me, and it made me look at it a little differently. They comment in a positive way, and I was like, oh, you know, they're kind of right. This color works. So when my husband bought this for me, I was kind of excited. It didn't look like this on the screen when I shared it with him. It looked, I think, less army. More olive. I say that and I feel like that's exactly what it looks like. There's so many little threads on my fabric. Oh, this one's definitely not the same size. Shoot. Not your gal for accuracy. You built a house for 40 years, you plan to spec them out. So, oh, I love that, Ellie. That sounds cool. Are you drawn to this top then because of the architectural sort of sleeve details? I haven't shown my office mate this top yet. I'm kind of curious what he's going to think. He's an architect. Shoot, dang, there's a lot of lint. I don't really like the back stitches up here. You know what I'm worried about is when we cut this with the template, we're gonna undo all of our back stitches. I don't like that at all. Because when you start pulling on it to like sew shoulders and neck, they'll just start popping open. We'll have to stay stitch it. Just like everything else, the prep takes a lot longer than doing it, right? So here we go. I think that's the last one, and that might just be too far over. We're really close. Let's look at this thing. Is it gonna be big enough? I'm scared. I don't think this is big enough. Oh my God. A little scared about that. Okay, so it pushes this way. So yeah. Yeah, press it. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Ellie. One of my current rants lately is the fact that I don't know much about tools like for putting things together like furniture or woodworking or whatever. And I'm sure I'm just gonna skip the back text. I'm sure in carpentry, just like in sewing, there's lots of different styles of it, right? So for me to just be like, I don't know the tools, I just literally don't know anything. And, you know, I think that's partly because I grew up half my life with a single mom. And then the other, you know, like teen years and stuff, my mom was remarried to a great guy. And we did a couple little things like that, but I was also a little older and he had 2 small children. Like my parents had 2 small children, right? And I probably wasn't the best, nicest teenager, right? And I didn't know, and no one knows, right, that you're missing out on learning some of these things. But I also think that's being a woman. It's not a default thing to teach women back then. And I get so annoyed when I'm at the hardware store and the person helping me is patronizing or sarcastic or not very helpful or just gaslighting me, whatever, all of it, right? And I just think, well, the thing is, once I learn it, I'm going to learn it, but you have to teach me it, you know? And I feel like being really sarcastic and being like, well, do you know how to make the jeans you're wearing? You know? No? And do you feel like you should know? Okay, you know? So, I would like to learn more about that. It's not like I have the time. My husband, he likes to do woodworking sometimes. But he drives me absolutely crazy that he doesn't put tools away. Like, absolutely crazy. I have to suppress it. Like, I have to pack it away, because in what world do you not put the tools away? Like, you know? All right. At this angle, they look parallel. You know, they look kind of cool. Let's see how I did. They do not like women on a tool aisle. Yeah, that is kind of true. Is this the way? There's one guy at ours, everyone knows here, that I just go, nope, when I see him. I just put my hand up and go, nope, to him. I don't want to talk to him. He's really mean. I took the Lazy Susan away from this computer, but now I'm thinking I need to get a different one. All right, we're going that way. You guys, this is so fun. Like, look at it. It's kind of cool. What if we did this thing where we stitch across them the other way? Terry, we still need to make that. Terry, we need to set a date because we are making that blasted top. Dang it. We both want it. We both want it really bad. Right? That McCall's one, whatever it's called. I don't remember what it's called. Let's press it from this side now. I'm going to straighten these. I just saw that make an impact. That's awesome, Ellie. You like tools of all sorts. I like that. I'm trying to read chat. I actually got a I got a job at a hardware store when I first moved somewhere once, and I said I will take this job, but the reason I want this job is that I want to work on the floor. I don't want to work at the cash register. And they were like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What did they do? They put me at that cash register. And I had also applied to the local fabric store, but they had said they weren't accepting. And then she liked my resume and called and she goes, you know what? We will make space for you. And so I was like, cool, you know. And I was glad because at the time, the hardware store, I was pretty upset with how terrible they were kind of treating me. And I thought that was going to be my chance, you know, and that was when I was, 26. So it just never came around again. Okay, moment of truth. This thing looks Funkorama. Oof. It is really tight though. Like, I added extra seam allowance for doing the French seams, and I'm not sure I'm gonna get that. I'm looking at, I want this to be straight. to pair up to center front. Yeah, right, Tiffany? Oh my gosh, yeah, all of that. All of that. I used to teach people, this is going to sound crazy, but I used to teach people how to harvest meat chickens. Same thing. Guys didn't want to learn from me. They were like, yeah, she's the only one that knows. I have plenty here. I don't need the seam allowance there. Can I do, can I do this? Can I raise it up? Oh, this is really tight. I added extra around that piece too. You know what? This pleat doesn't look 3/8. This is the, whatever, we're just gonna cut it. I just really want this to look straight to center front is all. So we're gonna focus on that. And we're gonna do the best we can. This is really tough. Holy. Well, sorry, this is a little frustrating. Wish I had my bigger rotary knife. At least it's sharp. Not bad. Not bad. We'll take it. Wait, what? Weaving fabric, yeah. Hey, Sydney. Oh, the outermost pleat. Yeah. You're right. If I do that, yeah. Good job, Tiffany. Forgot about that guy. This is why we don't backstitch, right? It's not an unusual way, Hillary. It's an annoying way, in my opinion. I feel like the pleats should be on the pattern piece. But it's actually pretty common. I think I've done this one other time, though, to be honest. Like, I haven't come across it. But I see it a lot, people talking about it. I know people who, when they want something pleated and the pattern isn't pleated, they will do this. So they will pleat their fabric and then they will cut it out on top. You know what I mean? Like that's a way to get around it. Actually, ooh, my hair marker's there. We're going to scratch out the holes before we iron it so I don't set them. I think I see my hair marker dent, but that's about it. Yeah, look at that. Love to see it. I wish this sewing line was a little straighter, so I'm gonna place it on a line. I'm gonna place this one on this line over here, so then I know they're straight. Yay! Look at all that room I got. Ooh, it's thick. Okay. You know, they make these things called serge. Oh, I'm not going to use the serger on this. I have a serger right over there. But I really like French seams and flat felled seams. I like the way the garment feels, especially if it's something I really want to have for a long time, which is most things. And sergers just, I don't know. I like them. They're handy. I use them. Especially for knits and stuff. Or maybe like a pocket edge. I like it for pocket edges. So it doesn't have to be folded under. But I added a little seam allowance to this so that I could French seam part of it. This one has back stitches, so there we go. There we go. Let's see, cut this. Okay. And then we'll stay stitch it. Okay, now we can cut this. I'm gonna line up this very uneven pleat here on this line here. So I'm putting the stitching line on this line and the cut line on this line. That's my strat. I'm trying to read chat. Okay. Why all the sirens, man? Okay, we can start sewing now. Ooh, why is that pink? Weird. I'm still not used to these camera arms. They're really interesting. And the Seine River is out. All right, we're just gonna stay stitch. I'm gonna take my stitch length down. I did remove the matching pleat. I don't know if you're just a little behind in the chat, but I did. Ay, no, no, no. They're wiggling away. Look at this one. This tuck goes all the way right to there. All right, let's do this one here. All right, we finally have two fronts. They look good. I like the contrast stitching. What do you guys think? Flat fill. Yeah, poor Shim today in the live chat feed was trying to say, he was talking about flat felling, and I swear to goodness, the autocorrect changed flat fell to everything but flat fell 4 times. It was flat fill, it was flat felling, it was something else. I couldn't, how do you even come up with so many different ways to not say it correctly and still not get the right way? Yeah, flat fill. That fill guy, man, he's flat. All right, I'm lining my yokes so that I can finish the neckline there. Let's grab our front as well. I put a side dart in mine. I did all kinds of things. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to chew my gum, but y'all know I have to kind of have something. All right, so let's do our dart. Put my stitch length back. And we'll start assembling this blouse. I don't even know how to use my machine anymore now that I use the other one so often. Oh yeah, the green plaid's kind of cute, huh? I knew Terry would say something about it yesterday, didn't I say? I was like, where's my green girl? She would like this plaid. It was just a little 1/4 yard strip that I found at an antique store here. And I was like, you know, that might be handy for something. And then lo and behold, I'm using it a week later. I think I told you guys that I made a cheesecake for my mom's birthday. I don't know if I told you guys that this was the weirdest thing, but my springform pan went missing. Oh, that is so crooked looking. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I had everything to make the cheesecake. I've made cheesecakes. I make 1 or 2 a year. It's only me and Michael. I have no idea where the pan could go. Like, everything is put away in our kitchen. We don't have a ton. I looked everywhere. We both did. Because even he was like, that's really, really weird. Like, where could that go? I'm like, I don't know. And thankfully, I got it out because the recipe, I used the water bath method to bake my cheesecake. So that means when you have it in the springform pan, and the springform pan is a pan that the bottom is separate from the sides and there's a latch and it like clasps around, like the bottom goes into like a lip around the sides. And you do this because getting a cheesecake out of a pan is impossible. you unlatch the sides, you lift it off, and then it just sits on that little disc on whatever plate you put it on. But when you do it in a water bath, obviously that seal might not be sealed enough for a water bath, so you got to like cover the bottom part of your pan in tinfoil. It's a big pain, but it's worth it. And it's not that bad. But there was a really good tip in this one recipe that I hadn't tried before, and they were like, you know, they were like, you know, you could put this in another pan and then set it in there. And I was like, why haven't I done that before? And so, and I'm not sure actually if that would be ideal or not, if it's too much of a shortcut, but you can also get like a silicone thing. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see if I have a pan that fits around my springform pan. And then I couldn't find the springform pan. So I needed the cheesecake by Sunday. This was Saturday morning. And I was like, oh, I was just about to start making this thing. And so, you know, everything burned down here. There's not a lot of options just to find a springform pan. And so we went to the antique stores. There's like 3 of them up here. And everyone, oh, what are you looking for today? I'm like, I'm looking for a springform pan. They're like, ooh. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. And one of the places we went to was like an antique mall with all the booths. And that's where I found the fabric. There's a lot of sewers that sell fabric at this little antique mall, like quilting fabrics. And so, but we found the springform pan. It was practically brand new. And that's what I thought would happen, is that I would find something like at an antique store like that. And I did. So thankfully it all worked out. But it was kind of a weird thing to go through. No, my daughter she's a baker, but she doesn't do things like that. She's a bread baker. So yeah, no, I did ask her for the record, but she doesn't even live with me. So I was like, is there any chance that I loaned you this? Like, were you interested in doing cheesecake and I loaned this to you? And she was all, nope. So, because I thought there could be a chance, but no. All right, let me think this through. There is a center front seam, and that's partly why I'm doing the contrast thread. And I have this yoke. And my idea actually was to, oh, you know what I could do? Could I do that with the neck too, though? Could I think I could. Okay, I'm gonna try something. All right, so we're gonna do, I really wanted the whole seam to be in one thing. Sorry, my foot keeps doing that. So, off the shelf, yeah. No. It has a facing at the neckline, and I don't like fiddling with facings. So, yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is what I'm thinking. I will do the center front of the yoke. So this pattern did not call for this little front yoke. I'm going to do a back neck binding and this little front thing. So bear with me here. I might do this in the wrong order. You should not copy me if you did a lining until you know I'm successful. Fair warning. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I think if you're not doing the lined yoke, I would recommend doing a yoke to a lower front, a yoke to a lower front, and your whole center front seam. If you want to do that contrast stitching on the center front, do that. Don't do the yokes together than the lower front and then sew the yoke to the bottom, because your seam might be like off. And then which side are you gonna top stitch? All right, so I'm thinking, I don't think this is gonna work actually. I want to clean finish my yoke seam, my shoulders, and my neck. Actually, maybe. All right, we're going to do our lower fronts. I need to finish the seam allowance right now. So I'm gonna iron it. And get it ready for top stitching. That way, I can have this seam going into the yoke seam the way I want it to. So my idea of finishing this edge, you could zigzag or overlock or whatever, is I'm just going to turn it under like this and top stitch it down. That's my idea. Just going to turn it under while it's hot. Oh, I did give myself more seam allowance than this. Ah, shoot. Do I take it out? Dang it. No. We'll just take it off at the side seams. Forgot I added my extra to do this. No, we'll just take it out. Sorry. I got a plan, Ellie. Trust. Trust the process. I gotta put my thing down here. I'm gonna take this out just so that top stitching this later won't be hard, because we're not gonna do it right away, since I want my top stitching to be continuous down the center front from neck to bottom. So yeah, sorry about that, I forgot. I did take this into account. What? I think this is like a linen cotton. Oh, you guys, did you see, someone did this little compilation of Olive Shadow's sticks that he brings to the nest. I'm talking about the eagles. If you guys don't know, I'm obsessed with the eagle cam. That's in Big Bear Valley. It is the cutest little compilation. I'm going to post it later, maybe in my live chat feed. I'll link to it because it's really cute. And one of the chicks tried to get out from under Shadow, the dad, yesterday, and it was really funny. It was really cute too. Someone in the comments was like, oh, that's gotta be the one that keeps trying to peck its sibling to death. Because there is one that is. Or maybe he's trying to escape the sibling. I don't know. Oh yeah, no worries. I like the challenging. Please feel free to chime in and challenge. My method may not work, but I didn't get to practice, so you know, we're practicing on our actual. That's why we take it out and we do it the way we want. Because I want, this is actually no problem to clean finish the shoulders and the chest seam. It's the fact that I want to clean finish the neckline seam with this yoke. That's why I'm making it hard on myself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretend like the neckline is the shoulders at first. And we're gonna leave our shoulders free. And then we're gonna sandwich those puppies in the back and sew them. Which also means we probably need to bias finish our back neck facing. It's probably good I'm taking this out. Okay. could probably iron my darts while we're here. I am not a fan of how this is interacting with my little stand right now. Did I do this down or up? Down. I feel like the home sewing world has been amazing for me, like as far as like changing my sewing style. Oh wait, did I do that up? I did do it up. But I also have forgotten certain things I used to always do and I never thought twice about. Oh my God. And that's one of them, is the direction of the dart. I used to always do it the standard way. Now I don't know what that is anymore. I did it one way for 30 years. And now I'm like, what way was that? Oh my God, this cord driving me crazy. All right, I'm back. Let's just sew this again. Oh yeah, seam ripper. It's my favorite tool. And my awl. Bury me with my awl. What is up with my hair though? Like, for real. I am gonna turn these under, but giving myself the 5/8 will be better. I don't quite need that much, it's quite a bit. But it'll be nice to be able to turn that under and know I'm gonna catch it when I top stitch it, if I top stitch it from the right side later, which would be better for how it looks on the outside, not so great on the inside, you know? Can you please scooch? There we go. Yeah, I was actually counting on my glasses when I started the stream. I was like, I'm just gonna put the glasses. They're not working. Growing out bangs is one of the worst things you can ever do. I feel like I'm gonna get to the end of growing out my bangs and then I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that didn't work, and just chop them. All right, so now let's just fold this under. So the reason I'm doing this right now is because I need to sew this seam. And I have to finish this somehow so that I can sew that seam, you know. I have a lot of threads sticking out, but we'll fix that in a second. This is better. It already sits nicer with that wider seam allowance. Just butting up the raw edge to the seam there. You know what, Elizabeth? That's how I discovered using an awl, because I was using my seam ripper as an awl. And then I remembered that I had this little awl that I got with my stuff from college, design school. I still had the same one. And I was like, oh, wait, this is way better because there's no blade on it. And I got freaking addicted to it. And then someone took it. Someone took it, and it wasn't, I'm not going to say it was sentimental, but it kind of was, just because it was, I've never seen an awl like it since. It had a little blue handle, and it came with all of my pattern drafting gear from Fitum. I could probably Google it now. Back then I couldn't. There wasn't really a Google. So, you know. Do you guys ever spend time just Googling things because you're like, oh wait, I can Google that now. I'm still thinking of things 30 years later. Does this seam finish have a formal name? It actually does. That's interesting you say that, Dawn, because I have something special planned for May. Let's Make May this year. And this seam finish is going to be in there. But, you know, I'm just turning it under. Basically, I'm just turning it under. And then I'm going to stitch it down from the right side eventually. So we're just trying to get the seam allowance the right thing here. And now we're going to, let me just sew or iron the center front seam on both of these yokes really quick. I just want to move the camera really quick. So they're nice and flat. Just a quick little thing. Oh, but isn't this also 5/8? Ah, really? That's a bummer. You know what? I think I did 5/8 here as well. Did I? I did, right? What do we think? If I did this at a bigger seam allowance, they'd be closer together, like that. Yeah, you know, Elizabeth, I also have a ruler from design school, and it's a French curve, perfectly clear, not a stitch of anything on it. And that thing, I will lose it because it's clear occasionally, and that is definitely sentimental. And one time the tip of it broke off and it's taped together, and I still use it because it is definitely, yeah, it's from school. I can replace it, but you know. This, I just did not do that seam allowance very good right there. I feel like I shouldn't have done this just now, but oh well, we're too late. I'm just trimming down my seam allowance. It is way too narrow. Oh my gosh, I'm just shanking it today. I'm just reinforcing it. I just really want to get to assembling this thing, man. You know? We're just going to offset them from one from the other instead. Okay, so we're going to put this one right sides together and this one right sides together. Right, like this. But I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do the neck first. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be able to fit that shirt in there. I'm going to press this one more time. We're going to press you one way. Sorry, I'll be right back. I'm going to press this one this way. This one this way. All right. So my idea is I'm going to sew the neckline and finish it. I'm actually going to go from the center toward the shoulder on both sides so that the pleats don't do something different on either side. All right, and then we're going to do this side. It's hard to sew with the work to my right when there's pleats, all the uneven thicknesses. All right. clip my V. And maybe I will press this before we sew the yoke seam, just to make sure we've got a nice, we can press this nicely, you know, and press the seam toward the lining. One little tip I have with a V, and I didn't do it here when I should have, is when you go across the base of a V, do one stitch across like this. So come down and then one stitch across. It will give you a nice point, and you won't get those weird puckers coming off the V. I'm getting away with it here because I started both of my seams from the bottom and went up. So there's like a 1 stitch gap between my two sewing lines. Oh, I knew something was funky there. I could tell the seam was pushing the other way. There we go. There's some weird wrinkles on there because it's caving into the bottom. Okay, that looks really nice though. Make that straighter. Manipulate. That looks pretty good though. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure. And now we can roll up the bottom, I'm hoping. We're not going to be able to do the Tauko method today, you guys. All the burrito fans are rejoicing. Maybe what we'll do is, no, let's roll this up now. Maybe I can pin this. Will pinning it kind of screw me over later? Maybe, huh? All right, Terry, see you later. It's gonna be tight. Gonna be tight. But we can do it. That's what I'm wondering, Aisha. Should I not pin it? I don't do that burrito method very often. I'll take him out. Yeah, okay. Thanks. I figured, I was like, this seems like a bad idea because it's too easy. At least I got it to just compress with the pins, and then I got it in position. Now I can just sew. Just reaching in there, making sure nothing's caught or near the seam. Because it does feel like, you know, it could be. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Plus, I'd really like to get my seam right on top of the lower front, you know? I'm just checking my seam alignment before I pull through. I'm also going to make sure it's not caught in there. All right, let's see. We can do that. Okay. Oh, I missed it. Look at that, I missed it. Oh. Dang, it felt funny, but I didn't think that was what I did. Well, shoot dang. I'm just failing today. This side is sewn, this side is not. You know what's funny is like, it probably seems to a lot of people that I'm just out of practice because I'm not sewing a lot on camera, but I am still sewing. No, this is just me being bad, just so you know. This is also why I'm not a big fan of the burrito method because I think I did this once before. This is also why I sew live, so that I can make all these mistakes so you watch out for them and you don't do it, right? At least I hope. That's my goal. Hi, Donna. How's it going? We got to make this sew last 2 days, right? That's one way. Is just seam rip the heck out of all of it. How you doing, Donna? Nice to see you. I pinned one pin. That's a lot of pins. It's like 100% more pins. What I don't like about this error is that I feel like it's dicey to fix a little bit. All right, here we go. The funny thing is I was like, oh, this matched perfectly, and I thought I saw all 3 layers too. Apparently not. I hear you on that, Aisha. That's how I always was in those knitting things. Like knit nights and stuff. I would get like 1 row done or have to undo everything I did. So, yeah. I get it. There we go. I could swear I had all 3 layers. Like it felt like it did. All right. Let's hope we're back on track. No problem, right? No problem. Oh, you had a big bike trip? I was thinking about your garden too. Like, are you getting ready for the season? Got to fill the root cellar. All right, so now we have these 2 clean finished. So now we're going to attach this to our shoulders. So I'm going to clean finish this facing to the back here. You know, we're not going to get to the sleeves today, but if I did, we'd finish, so. Nice. That's awesome, Donna. I trained to do the San Francisco to LA ride, and then something happened. I think with the person I was riding with, and we couldn't do it. I can't remember what it was. It was kind of big. It was an AIDS ride. Okay, just checking things. Everything's looking good. So this pattern has a back neck facing, and I just cut it down narrow. So I'm just gonna sew it kind of like a bias strip, but as a facing wise, this is not fitting. Did this grow? What happened? Yeah, I was really excited about that ride. Oh, it's like, jeez. Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. It's like a 100 miles a day type of thing for like a week. And it's fully supported, you know, and a lot of people do it. I imagine it's still going, but I don't know. Why is this too big? I hope I didn't cut that on that. Remember how I told you that back had that confusing line? I hope I didn't cut it on the larger back, because I think I did. I don't mind the extra 1/4 inch back there, but it does mean my facing doesn't work. So I'm gonna cut this a little bit larger. I keep thinking about going live just spontaneously sometimes when I'm working on something. And I haven't, but I might at the cottage, you know. I was gonna wear my new bowline sweater for you guys today just to show you, and then I realized that this office is 1,000 degrees. Well, there would be no seam allowance change on this one. Maybe it's a, like, look at that. It's really different. I'm thinking I did do that thing I was worried I would do. Because there on the pattern, there's a line parallel to the center back. And it looks like the cut line, or the fold line. Oh my goodness. Let's get it close and then we'll fuss with it. We used to make garbage can be on the left. I don't think this fabric relaxed so much, you know, that that'll do, but a little unnerving. A little unnerving. This fabric collects every piece of lint. It's not very pretty on camera, but gosh, it's so pretty in person, you know? This is one thing I learned about this color, is that it turns everything pink. Same with teal. If like all the whites will turn pink on camera. So let's try and rein this in a little bit. We're doing things a little out of order, just so I can clean finish this the way I want. I've been adopting the the other way of truing your curves, not clipping, but trimming them down closer instead lately. I'm liking it a little better. We're gonna have a whole blouse without sleeves, but the sleeves are their own little thing, aren't they? Should I do a little, oh, I actually can get that. I was gonna do a little stitch to kind of get that curve, but it's allowing me to curve pretty good. The heat from the felt kind of helps me mold it, you know? Oh, it does? It's so funny because it looks kind of washed out on my screen. Maybe it's just my monitor. Okay. Just kind of folding it so that the edge tucks up against the seam. It's a nice regulator for keeping the width as close to the same all the way around. Okay. I feel like I could sew this whole top today. Even though I've pretty much sewn all of this 3 times. Oh, let's understitch. Why not? Let's be a good sewer. Whoop. So, I've been editing a couple videos for So Liberated, and that I recorded, not their videos. They do their own editing, and I don't know if you guys saw, but I have this little gizmo usually here, and it lets me switch between cameras. It's called a Stream Deck. But you can use it as a shortcut thing for anything in your life, right? Anything on a computer. So because now I have switched to this different recording and filming setup, I don't really need that because I'm not switching between cameras anymore. It'd be nice for like when I'm like going live and stuff, but I can press a mouse button, right? So anyway, I decided to repurpose it for my editing. It's so awesome. Like, it's so awesome. So I just basically need a mouse and this little deck with the buttons, and I've programmed all the buttons, and I keep kind of tweaking their positions so that they're really intuitive. It's making the editing, like, I want to say at least 20%, maybe 30% faster. It's pretty crazy. It's so fun. It's so fun too, you know. Oh. I used to have a label shouter. I don't have label shouters anymore. I got to be my own label shouter. I'll just put the default one in. Hoping that's the center. Hoping that's the center. Let's check. Yeah, okay. Phew. Okay, so now my last for my last trick, I'm going to finish the shoulders. And I'm just going to wrap the lining around. Kind of like my Tauko method. Now the trick with this when you're wrapping it like this is that if you don't want this to look like you did this, you've got to center the fold of this shoulder right here. This is the back, right? You've got to center this fold in that seam there. So you can't just line up the seam. What'll happen is then the lining has to go up the thickness and then over, right? So you sort of got to back this away from the edge here, right? So you got to back it a tiny bit away so that the outer and the lining can sort of share the burden of wrapping around. This is how I found the most success with doing this. You also got to really slam it toward that end when you're pulling it. So if you want, you can tack it first, like this. I'm going to do that today because I never do, and I'm always like, why didn't I just tack it? Why do I have to make this hard, you know? And now, let's just pull this out of the way. Pull these two out of the way, and we'll pull our lining around. Actually, what we'll do is we'll hold this in place like that, and then we'll pull it around like this. Like that. But I'm going to pull the lining because you don't want a gap. You don't want like it to hang off the end. You know what I mean? I feel like I might get a gap. So let's try this. We're just going to try the initial part here. I think I will get a gap too because I forgot the seam allowance. It's a little different. So let's just let's see how we did. I think I will get on the edge there, so we might be okay. I don't want to like pop it unless I know for sure. But let's try and see. There's a pleat right there. I think I can make that work. I don't know, the pleat's making it kind of thick right there. There's this pleat going right through there. So if you didn't have that tuck there, it would be even better. But we can trim down some of this seam allowance here. And then I'm going to fold this toward the lining like that. And then pull it and put my awl in here. Oh, I did get kind of a jog. So you don't want to jog right there. You see that little jog? It's not bad, but can you do better? You know, probably. So let's see if we can do a little better. This is the last thing I'm going to do today. I could do the side seams, but I'll wait. Leave something for Saturday. Well, all we have are the sleeves. This would be a really quick top to put together Because the sleeves, I know they seem kind of like intimidating, but they're really easy. Like all those little spikes, the seam is, it just is parallel. Like it's not like one is different than the other. Like one is a different shape than the other that it sews to. So you just sew a bunch of short seams together. Because I did it on the muslin, just like somewhere around here. So could I get that a little closer? See this with this pleat? It's kind of hard. We're gonna slam it closer. I'm gonna kind of pull it really hard. I wonder if leaving like a little gap, like one stitch. No, it wouldn't be good. Well, whatever. And do I want that seam going toward the lining? Maybe it would be better if it went toward the front. Well, I definitely got it a little better. All right. I think I'm gonna notch up to it. I don't want to clip the corner quite yet. I'm not even sure I want to. Just gonna clip it up to it like a V, so it has a place to relax, you know. Maybe when we top stitch, we can kind of help it. I mean, that does look a little better. Okay, let's try our other side. So now we have clean finished yoke, neck, shoulders. Let's pull the lining out too. And we'll do our other one. See you, Tiffany? Yeah, me too. All right, we're lining down here. We need to look at where the seam line is, the seam juncture. So let's maybe sew this together first. Let's try that. I don't really like going against the pleats, but it's not very many, so. All right, so I slammed it up to that edge, and now, because theoretically, right, we have a nice smooth transition right now, right? So now we just need to keep that going. I'm kind of pulling on the lining hard because I feel like pulling it will help pull it to the inside afterward. I think I'm going to deal with whatever I've gotten. So I'm going to trim my seam allowance. Okay. And then we're gonna awl it. We're gonna awl the heck out of it. Sometimes I push against it with my awl too and then pull something else. That's not bad. You notice how this tuck is not in there and the other one was? A little bit of asymmetry happening there. But I like the way that looks on the inside, right? So we have some top stitching to do down the center front. Would I do the neckline? I don't know, would you guys do the neckline? I don't think I would do the neckline. What's the photo look like? I'm gonna flash to the thumbnail for a second. It was top stitched, but did it look like it was top stitched down? Huh. Like, was it top stitched on the body, not the yoke? I guess it could be. This looks wiggly here, and it's because my seam allowance is pressed. But once we top stitch it, it'll be fine. Or maybe we don't top stitch that? Oof. I might think about this. So we have that. We have, if we want a seam to be top stitched right here, I'm not sure. That's my instinct, obviously, but I mean, it doesn't have to happen, right? It's thick. Can you see? It's a little thick. I mean, it's not thick, but I just mean like you can see the little bumpity bump. I haven't pressed it. And then I have this to top stitch down. And I'm kind of thinking like, was these supposed to line up to that top stitching? That's interesting, because that would mean this would have to be a little closer together, but not much. I don't know. The instructions, it's just a block of text. A block of text. And there's hardly any diagrams. Oh yeah, you press the seam allowance down and maybe you top stitch it to the bottom. That's weird. I can see that because of the bulk of the tucks. See ya, Aisha. Pin the facing in its place at the center front seam. That's cool, Nancy. Well, I'm gonna think about this. Just give us something, because if I were to top stitch this right now, my fold goes right up to here. So if I top stitch it, it would be like on the inside. I wish I would have thought about that, because I mean, I could make this fold wider, at least everywhere right here, and then I could top stitch it so that it looks like the tucks go straight down. It's an idea, you know? But I feel like it'd be kind of wide. You know, like if this top stitching along the center front was way over here. Dang, I did so much work to try and get a nice center seam to line up so I could do my top stitching, but now it's going to be too close to my tucks. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Bummer. Maybe I will not top stitch the lower front. I don't know. I don't know what I would do though. I'd have to finish these edges somehow. I could just, honestly, I could just edge stitch them inside here and let them hang. That's fine. Is it though? I sort of want to top stitch my dart. I like the way that looks. All right, well, let's leave it here. I'll think about the top stitching. Maybe I should have understitched my neck. Nah, it'll stay in there. Oh, that's an idea, Martina. I could, actually. That's a good idea. I like that. That's a good backup plan. Because I think top stitching it down is ideal. You know, like I feel like it's less ironing, more sturdy. Yeah, less ironing. And I do have like a few of these. Oh my gosh, are these all the same color? I thought I just pulled 4 different olive greens. That's not the same color. Well, let's hope I have something. Because I don't think like, well, that actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe a dark gray. Oh, yeah. There it is. There you go. I guess the gray could work. This looks a little too teal. You know, it's got a tiny bit of blue in it. Oh, maybe this. No. Oh well. All the thread colors in the world and not a drink to drop. Wait, not a drop to drink. Okay, well, that is a good idea, Martina, actually. I like that. Why is this the thing stymieing me? You know? Why is this the thing stymieing me? I mean, I think like I could just top stitch it wide, right? Would that look too wide? I'll show you where my folds are, because they're pretty narrow. See, they're just inside. So that's kind of a bit because you wouldn't stitch that on the fold, right? You'd stitch just inside. So what if I just stitched right here next to my, I'm too hungry. All All right, well, maybe I'll hunt around for some matching thread. I just don't think I have any. I'll bring some of this home, and maybe I have some at home. I tend to have more Kelly greens rather than the olive greens. So I guess I could order some today, but that's dicey. Like it would probably arrive by tomorrow, but it might not be the right color. So, all right, well, I think my backup plans are if I can't find the thread, I might just edge stitch on the inside and not top stitch through, which even though I was really counting on that. And that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Okay. All right. Well, I'll see you guys Saturday. Thanks for coming. Sorry for all the seam ripping, but at the same time, happy I did it. And I really like the finish. So I think this is looking really nice. It's such a cute top. Lots of fun details. Super fast to sew if you don't do all this crazy stuff too. So, yeah. See you Saturday. Bye.